For less than 20 quid, I have decided to upgrade my Living World Eco Habitat cage and get rid of these stupid holes halfway up the side once and for all. So the idea is to drill new ventilation holes at the top and block off the ones down below. Providing you have a drill, this is going to work out way cheaper than if you replace the side pieces altogether. And this will then mean that I can add more bedding in and not worry about my hamsters getting hurt or trying to escape through the holes. Before I removed the side pieces, I just marked where the wooden frame goes up to, so I didn't encroach on that with any alterations I was making. First off, I marked 2.5 centimetres from the edge, or it would be 2 centimetres from the edge of the frog tape, and that is where I'm going to start drilling my holes. So I put some frog tape, masking tape, over the top of the existing holes, and I'm just going to, with a pencil or a pen, you can just mark where the existing holes are. I've marked all the holes, and then just on the end, so I can line it up when I move it, just mark the ends. And then take the tape off. Oh my god. Right. Want to line this up. So got it stuck down 2.5 centimetres from the top to the top of the hole, or 2 centimetres from the edge of the masking tape to the top of the hole. The original masking tape is on the outside because I did it on the outside of the cage. I am drilling on the inside of the cage, so from the inside to the outside, to make sure that the smoother holes are on the inside. So now on to drilling the holes. I am using a 10mm bit, and you need some oil. You could use WD-40, but if you're going to use that, I'd make sure that you scrub the perspex down when you're finished, like really well. And even like, and then, or you could use a vegetable oil spray or something. I've got this olive oil spray, and I'll show you what I do with these in a sec. Again, just make sure when you've done all of this that you wash this perspex down thoroughly. Drill ready. Spray a bit of oil, and then just go really slowly, and it takes a while. You don't want to go full throttle, and you kind of feel when it starts to chip away at the perspex. You could probably go faster than this, but this is what I've been doing and it's worked for me. So I'm just going slow and steady, and once it's started to do the perspex, just put a bit more oil, and it just disperses the heat apparently, and there's less chance of the perspex cracking if it's lubricated. And you kind of know when you've got through it because it makes a bit of a cracking noise. There we go. See that? There we go. One hole. 12 more to do. I'll be back in a bit. So I've done one row at the top, then I measured 4 centimetres down, and that's going to be where the top of the next row of holes is going to be. So now I'm just going to lift this masking tape off, put it up there, and drill the second and final lot of holes. So I've got my strip up here. It's 4 centimetres from the bottom of there to the top of there, and then I've got to drill those, and then I'm done. So that's both sides done. Drilled holes at the top, so now it's going to come up all the way to cover the old ones. I have ordered 2 pieces of polycarbonate. That's with the protective thing on, and that's with it off. And the idea is with the Tensol 12 glue, but be very careful using this. It wants to be in a well ventilated area. So the idea is I'm going to bond glue it with the acrylic glue across there, and then the hamster can not escape through the holes or whatnot. I've also just got a little bit of wet and dry sandpaper, and I've wet it, and I'm just sanding off any sharp edges so it's nice and smooth for the little hammy's paws if it gets anywhere near it. All good to go. I've just got to I have put the tape on the outside of the cage, and then to try and make it as level as possible, and this is just going to fit in there. That's where I want it. So just got to glue that tomorrow. And so look, on the other side I've taped it. So yeah. After watching many videos, I thought this Tensol glue would just disperse itself flat when I squirted it on here, so I did squiggly lines. Trust me, it did not disperse flat. I ended up with squiggly lines, so I strongly suggest not doing squiggly lines when doing this, as you'll see when I do the second piece. And then all I had to do was place the polycarbonate piece on top of the glue and hold it in place for a few seconds. That was literally it. This is me doing the second side, where I don't do squiggly lines and I try to do straight lines. And I also did try to use a paintbrush to smooth it on, but it was just making it all blurred, so I gave up with that. And again, I'm just then placing the piece of polycarbonate on top of the acrylic glue. The proper and neater way to have glued it would have just been along the edges. But the reason why I didn't do it like this was because I was being extra cautious, so that there was no chance of a hamster coming into touch with any of the glue, even when it was dried, because I didn't want a hamster nibbling it. Then I left the cage in my living room for several days for the glue to cure. Oh, and I forgot to say, the reason why I used Tensol glue is because you can't just use normal glue or a wood glue or something like that to glue polycarbonate to polycarbonate or perspex to perspex. The Tensol 12 actually doesn't really work like a glue. It's it kind of more like melts the two pieces together, so they're never going to shift, they're not going to break apart. I was doing it like this because I wanted to try and keep my cage as see-through as possible and do it as cheap as possible. If you want to spend 50-60 quid, then you could just replace the sides completely, but I was trying to save a bit of money. And also you could have also done it, you could have glued a piece of wood on or something if you wasn't bothered about visibility, but this is the way I did it. And yeah, overall I'm quite happy with it. One side has got sort of straight lines on it and the other side's got squiggly lines on it, but it is what it is and it works, and I can get way more bedding in it. If you like this video, you might want to check out this one where I did even more alterations to the Living World Eco Habitat. Thanks for watching, and if you found this helpful, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe.